What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. It's Tuesday, time to check out some new releases that are coming out this Friday, September 12th. It's about 500 albums coming out this week. I got 14 on my list for today. There's a bunch of links down below. You got links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist that I put together every week, and the Patreon page. So make sure you check all that out. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. Like I said in the intro, there's about 500 albums that are coming out this week, but I'm only going to talk about 14 of them on the show today. So if there's something you're looking forward to that I'll have on here, make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to grabbing this week. And like always, if you're unable to find these in your local brick and mortar stores, they should all be available online. I'll put links down below in the comment section for them. You can also always go over to the Vinyl Den store on Amazon. All the pre-orders are on there. There's new releases. There's deals on records. All sorts of cool stuff to check out. I think the big release this week is going to be this anniversary edition of Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. Came out back in 1975. It was their sixth studio album. It was a 3 LP release, 50th anniversary edition. So this is going to run you about $62. But if you own the 40th anniversary edition that came out in 2015, there's really no difference between it and this one. It uses all the same 2015 remastered audio. The only difference between the two is this new 50th anniversary edition comes with a poster. So it kind of seems like, in my opinion, a missed opportunity to celebrate an incredible album. I grew up a big Led Zeppelin fan. Physical Graffiti has long been one of my favorite albums from the band. I was really hoping to see them do something really special for the 50th anniversary. So in my opinion, it's a little disappointing to see them do just a repackaging of the 40th anniversary. They are also releasing a live EP. It's going to run you about $20. It's got 2 tracks from Earl's Court in 75 and 2 tracks from Nebworth in 79. And all 4 of those tracks have been previously released on the DVD back in 2003, but none of them have ever been available on either CD or on vinyl. So it's really the only additional material that you're getting for the anniversary of this great album. And to go back to the 3 LP version of this album, if you don't have the 2015 pressing of it, the 3rd LP is just all rough mixes. There's a orchestral mix of Kashmir on there also. If you already have the album, is it worth the $60+ to have those extra mixes? In my opinion, probably not. That's why I said, in my opinion, I would like to see them do something maybe a little bit different with that release. But that's coming out this Friday. You've also got the new album from 21 Pilots coming out, Breach. It's their 8th studio album. So it's kind of funny. They did like 21 different variants for this album, which is a lot. I know I've complained a lot about bands doing a bunch of different variants, but it's 21 Pilots, so of course they're going to do 21 different variants for the new album. Looks like it's all going to run you about $28. The Amazon exclusive is going to be on Clear Glitter. The indie exclusive version of it's going to be on Blue Smoke, and then it looks like the standard version of it just on red vinyl. This is the follow-up to Clancy, which came out in 2024, which I thought was a really big return to form album for the band. After releasing Scaled and Icy in 2021, which I thought was a huge disappointment of an album, which I was never a big 21 Pilots fan, but I picked it up when it was released, and I hated the album. I ended up actually selling that album. It was one of the few albums I've only listened to once or twice and ended up selling. I didn't pick up Clancy when it was released last year, but I streamed it a few times. Definitely, like I said, a much better album than anything off of Scaled and Icy. I think this is going to be a huge album. The responses I've seen from listening parties at a couple of my local record stores have been huge so far. They've already released a couple of singles off the new album, which have both gotten really positive reviews. And from what I understand, this is supposed to be the conclusion of a series they started way back in 2015 with their 4th album, Blurry Face. I don't know, it's an album I probably won't pick up this week, but I'll definitely stream it and check it out when it gets released. A couple of big box sets coming out this week. The first one is Phil Collins, No Jacket Required. Came out back in 1985. It was his 3rd solo studio album. So this is a 4 LP deluxe 40th anniversary edition. It's going to run you about $125. This was easily one of Phil's most commercially successful albums. He'd end up winning Album of the Year at the Grammys that year, and it would go on to be one of the biggest selling albums of the 80s. It would hit number 1 on the Billboard 200. It would sell like over 25 million copies worldwide. Take Me Home is on there, One More Night, Don't Lose My Number. All 3 of those tracks were all huge hits for him. So what you're getting in this 4 LP box set is the first album is just the standard album, and then you got 3 LPs of demos, B-sides, live performances. All comes housed in this really nice deluxe slipcase. It's definitely one of my favorite albums from him. $125 a lot for me to drop on this though, especially since I spent a lot on albums lately. So I'm going to wait. Hopefully around the holidays, if someone's having a sale, I can grab it on sale somewhere. So that one's coming out this week. Then you've also got Dave Bowie, I Can't Give Everything Away, 2002 to 2016. So this is a huge, I think it's 18 LP box set. It's going to run you about $426. So starting back in 2015, they started doing these box set series from David Bowie, just breaking up his long, storied career into these different eras. So this is the sixth and final box set from his great career. So this 18 LP box set spans the last 14 years of his life and his career. And the title of the box set is actually taken from the closing track from Black Star, which was his last album, which was released, I think, 2 days before his passing. I know it's a lot of money, but I think there's a lot of content packed into this. So what you're getting in this box set is all newly remastered versions of Heathen from 2002, Reality from 2003, The Next Day, and The Next Day Extra, which is an EP he released in 2013. And then you've also got the original audio versions of Black Star and No Plan, which is an EP he also released. And then you've also got unreleased material, there's remixes, there's demos, there's live material. Like I said, 18 LPs worth of material. It's not my favorite era from David Bowie. I'd love to go back and start collecting some of these earlier box sets. I know some of them are still available. Some of them have gotten a little harder to find. I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing with these box sets, though. There's also a new album from Ed Sheeran coming out this week. This is Play. It's his 8th studio album. There's a pink version of this. There's also a purple version, which I think might be an Amazon exclusive. It's going to run you about $28. So both of Ed's last two albums, which I think were both released in 2023, were mostly acoustic albums. But with his new album, it's supposed to be a return to more of this like pop-centric sound from Ed. There's also rumored to be the first of 5 symbol-themed releases from him, because, previously he did Multiply, there's Divide, there's Equals. So I guess this is the start of another series like that from him. I've never been a big Ed Sheeran fan. I did pick up his last album just because it was on sale on Amazon for like $7 or something like that. It's okay. Like I said, I'll stream this one and check it out when it comes out this week. And then you've got the new album from Daughtry coming out. I guess this is a new album. It's a new EP, but this is Shock to the System Part 2. It says third EP. It's going to be on translucent orange vinyl. It's going to be about $25. So this is the follow-up to Shock to the System Part 1, which came out last year, which actually got really good reviews. I know Daughtry is largely known for Chris Daughtry being a contestant on American Idol back. Was it 2005 or 2006? But they've been pretty consistent about releasing music over the last 20 years. I never really listened to much of their music. I mean, I listened to their debut when it came out, was 2006 or 2007. And then when they released part 1 of this last year, I listened to that and was really impressed with it. I thought it was really good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's another one I'll add to my list to check out this week. The next release is one that I'm a little disappointed in. I love this album. I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing with this release, though. This is Foreigner 4. It was released in 1981. It was their 4th studio album. It's running about $24. This is a newly remixed version with new alternate artwork. I'm okay with them remixing the audio for this, even though I don't really think the audio needed to be remixed on this. But the alternate artwork that comes with this, in my opinion, is just terrible. This is one of those classic album covers you just don't mess with. Like I said, I love this album. I have a copy of it. For $24, I probably would pick up a copy of it just because I'd love to compare this new remix to the older copies I have of this album. And I still might, considering it's only $24, but God, I hate the artwork for this. The way I look at things like that, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's something that they didn't really need to do anything with, but that's coming out this week if you want to check that out. Then you've also got From the Beginning by Mötley Crüe coming out. This is a new greatest hits compilation from them. It's been on translucent white vinyl. It's a 2 LP release. It's going to about $37. So what's interesting about this is the vinyl version actually has 2 additional tracks that aren't going to be available on the CD version, which is typically the complete opposite. For most releases I see nowadays, if there's extra material, it's going to be on the CD version and not the vinyl version. So the songs Afraid and Canceled are not going to be on the CD, but it will be on the vinyl version, which you're really not missing a whole lot with either one of those tracks. But this does also include the original version of Home Sweet Home and the remix version with Dolly Parton. Unfortunately, it still ignores their self-titled album with John Corabi on vocals, which I know a lot of people out there hated when it was released, including myself. I never really gave it a shot until several years later. But now looking back, 30 years after that release, go back and listen to that album, it's actually a lot better than I gave it credit for, and I think a lot of people gave it credit for. I think there's definitely a couple tracks off that John Corabi album that absolutely should have been on this greatest hits compilation. And not only that, I think they need to finally acknowledge that album exists and give it a proper reissue. There's also a new album, Teenage Bottlerocket, coming out this week. This is ready to roll. It's their 10th studio album. It's going to be in yellow vinyl. It's running about $27. In my opinion, they are easily one of the best and most consistent punk bands of the 21st century. Formed in Wyoming in 2000, they haven't had a whole lot of mainstream success over their career, but they've released some incredible albums over the years, including Total from 2005, which actually just got reissued for Record Store Day in April. They've already released 4 singles off the new album. It's definitely what I'm looking forward to. I've got it on pre-order. Actually, I should have it a couple of days before release day. So that's coming out this week. They've also got Grateful Dead releasing Blues for Allah. Came out back in 1975. It was their 8th studio album. It's a 50th anniversary release. It's going to be on green vinyl. It's going to be an Amazon exclusive. It's going to run about $25. It's one of the Grateful Dead's more ambitious albums that showcased the jazz fusion that they had started incorporating over a previous couple of albums, but they were a little more experimental past that. And they started incorporating more of a Middle Eastern influence into the music on this album. In my opinion, the end result was one of the best albums of their career. There's also a new album from Silverstein coming out this week. This is Pink Moon. It's their 13th studio album. It's going to be on blue vinyl. It's going to run about $26. So this is the second half of a project that they started earlier this year with Antebloom, which Antebloom, it was met with some pretty mixed reviews when it came out, but I thought it was a lot better than the last couple of albums. So the 2 albums fit together to create one full album. I thought Antebloom was okay. I thought it was a very inconsistent album. I'm interested to see if this one's a little bit more consistent than the previous one was. I don't know, it's definitely one I'll stream and check out when it gets released. Then you've got the new album from Gavin coming out this week. This is Pantheon. It's their 11th studio album. It's going to be on cobalt and orange splatter vinyl. It's going to be about $38. If you're unfamiliar with Gavin are a post-hardcore band, started in Sacramento back in 2005. This is the follow-up to their 2022 album, Jackpot Juicer, which did really well commercially, hit number 8 on the Billboard 200. I think they're one of those bands that's gaining in popularity with each and every album that they release. Their last 4 albums have all charted in the top 15 on the Billboard 200, but vocally it might be a little bit of a different album. So this is the first album since Andrew Wells took over as the co-lead vocalist for the band. Tillian Pearson was the co-lead vocalist all the way up till April 2024, but he left the band, and then Andrew took over, so it might be a little bit different album. So it's one I'll definitely check out this week, just to see the direction that this band is going in. And then rounding out the list this week, you got a couple of reissues from Halford coming out. The first one was Crucible, came out in 2002, is their 2nd studio album. It's been on ghostly purple vinyl. It's going to run you about $40. So it's a little bit of a heavier and darker album than the first Halford album was. I think it also showed that old school metal in 2002 was still a viable genre. It received widespread critical acclaim, but only peaked at number 144 on the Billboard 200. And this is one of those albums that was not available on vinyl for a very long time. It wasn't released on vinyl until 2023. And this is actually a reissue of that 2023 release. So if you're looking for a copy of it, that's coming out this week. Then the last one I got on my list is Halford 4 Made of Metal. Came out in 2010. It was their 4th studio album. 2 LP releases, be on white vinyl. It's going about $40. So this album was a little bit more of a return to that more straightforward, almost like traditional style metal that they did on Crucible. It wasn't as experimental as the previous album. Critically speaking, it wasn't as well received as Crucible was, but commercially it performed about the same. So I guess that kind of speaks to where metal, was in the 2000s. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to grabbing this week. As far as pre-orders go, I think the only one I know I've got on pre-order is that Teenage Bottlerocket. I've got question marks probably next to 4 or 5 other ones. I might grab that physical Graffiti. It really depends on if I can grab it on sale somewhere. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.